Before and after. So here we have a before and after example. We're going to be learning how to make one of these that is aesthetically pleasing and easy to follow. Okay. So in Photoshop, I'm going to trash out this one that I've made. And let's go to the original where this is what I did. I had a photo that I changed in some manner. Okay, so very important to know that this video is to represent before and after from here on out. Not just before and after on the single photo that you did, but any photo. Now, also know your photo should be huge. So image size, notice mine is 47 by 3117. Okay, it's got a high resolution, and this is very important. You do not want to present your work if it's not high res. Plain and simple. Okay. Now that I know that the dimensions are pretty big, and what are small dimensions, you're probably going to ask? Anything below 3000, I would say, is just too little. Okay, so make sure it at least has 3000 in one of these, and then the other one can be above that. So the minimum one must be above 3000. If you don't have that, you probably used an image from a photo that just didn't have enough resolution to begin with. So you must search for those photos that have higher resolution. Okay. Now, we develop templates. Let's go File, New, and we're going to develop a template for 1920 by 1080p. Okay, good. Now we're going to go into it and type in 1920, 1080, 300 resolution. Now, I don't go above 300, but you can. I'm just saying that it'll get pretty big, almost too big. So if you have even bigger photos, like let's say you have something within the 16 megapixel range, you can always bump that up to like 600 resolution. For right now, I'm just going to state 300 is good, and let's hit OK. Now, let's go back to our photo. In this case, I want to present to somebody that I changed this in some way. And in this case, it's contrast, black and white. And that's pretty hard sometimes if you really think about it, stealing color out of an image just right so all the detail is still there. Okay. Now, I'm going to do this. First, take your marquee selection tool and marquee select around it. Go Edit, Copy, Merged. Then over in my next document, I'll paste it. It's going to be really big. Now let's go to the other document and do the black and white variation. Edit, Copy, Merge. Edit, Paste. So before and after are in the same document together. I'm just going to hold Shift and highlight both of these. Going to go to the Move tool and make sure Show Transformation Controls are on, and then I'm going to hold Shift. And I'm going to resize this together. Alright, now I'm going to go back to the Move tool and hit Apply. I'm going to take image 1, or my before, and put it over on the left hand side. I'll put the other one over on the right hand side. See how it overhangs? Well, now I'm going to hold Shift and highlight both of them, and then hold Shift and constraint uniformly scale them right into the center. What I want to do is put them in the center and still have the ability to put some kind of gap between them. So in this case, if I go to the before, drag it just a little bit to the left, okay, just like that. Now I have a nice layout. Okay, next. What we're going to do is look at the background color for a second. So in this case, if I just haphazardly put a gray back here, it might take away from the black and white itself. Let's think about maybe putting a darker variation in. I don't want to match any of the colors in the outside of this. So in this case, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe even just a little bit darker. Do not put color in the back of your photos. Okay, color always looks awful. Always stick for black and white in the very background of things. Remember, this is about the picture that you did. It is not about your background. Okay, next, let's develop some text. Let's go to the text tool, click and drag it out, and I'm going to go up here to color. This time I'm going to steal some color from the black and white. Again, I would stick to black and white on the text too. This thing that I'm showing people has to do with high contrast, black and white. The transitional words like and or, we always leave small. Always capitalize the first word of any emphasis word. Okay, that looks nice. I want to keep that text. So always pick a font that is respectable. Don't do this. Okay, we're on optimum. Don't pick a font that is unreadable. That one's hard to read. Don't pick a font that's stylized. This only belongs on lighters or biker jackets. Always be very, very stylized as far as, balanced. You want nice text that can be read. It's not about the text, it's about the photo. Don't have a bunch of silly fonts in there. So if I have one font choice, I would take and hold Alt, click and drag it, and this makes a copy. In this case, I want to put before and after. Okay, I'll move the before there, hold Alt, click and drag, after. Nice. And if you want to line stuff up, you can go to View Rulers. You can click and drag a ruler down using the Move tool. And this will ensure that you have everything properly across from each other. And if you wanted to get really picky about things, you can also put a ruler in between the photo itself. To do this, highlight the photo first. So go to the Move tool, highlight the photo, and see how there's a little dot right there in the center. I can go like this and it'll snap to the dot. Okay. Now, if you look, after is quite far away, and before is also pretty far away. There we go. And you can see the high contrast. That should be centered between the two of them. You can use the arrow tool for this on your keyboard. That's much better. Has balance, has symmetry, before and after, very classy. Okay, before we're done, we gotta save it. Save for web devices. We always save for web devices because we're going to be actually putting this on a 1920 by 1080 monitor, but certainly you could put it on the internet, and you should always have a high-res variation of your work that shows change. Okay, quality 100%, save it, and I'll save it right here. I named it first name, last name, black and white. Name it conventionally because you never know when you're going to be using this for a portfolio piece. Save it. And how do you know if it's any good? Well, I should be able to go to Finder, and I should be able to right click on this and go open with Firefox. There we go. High contrast black and white, before and after, fits the entire screen. And the fact is, if it's a little bit smaller or bigger, that's okay too. But look at this. This is what's really important. A user can go in here and click on the photo and see all the detail. And they can transition between the two. Always design for the user to be able to see change. That way you can show progress in your artwork and your skill. Alright, enjoy. That is how to develop a before and after.